You see this elephant? This taught me something which 22 years of engineering, thousands of hours of overthinking, and one midlife crisis couldn't. Let me ask you, how many of you here have asked this question to yourself? What's my purpose in life? Can I show of hands? Be honest. How many of you still don't know? I thought there was some problem with me because I did not have a clear answer for this. Every book, every YouTube guru, every podcast asks this question. Find your purpose. Consider it as the pressure of social conditioning or an overdose of motivational ideas on air. Everyone around me had a 5-year plan when I didn't have even a 5-minute plan. Yes, there I was, stuck, not knowing how to go about it. Something holding me back. The absence of a grand purpose in life. Blinding the path ahead. That is when this elephant, or rather a story about this elephant, helped me to redefine what I think of purpose. Have you heard of that ancient story of ancient Indian story where 6 blind men encountered the elephant for the very first time? One touched the leg, said, "It's a tree." One touched the ear. He said, "It's a fan." One touched the tusk. "It's a spear." Are they all right? Were they all right? Yes. Were they all right? Yes. But each one of them spoke from their share of truth, their experience of truth. That is exactly the way how purpose also works. We, at different stages of our life, we realize different purposes for ourselves. The purpose may not be clear for us at one go because it appears in pieces. To enhance this dilemma, let me tell you a little bit of background. I grew up in a traditional Indian family where our career choice has a fixed 3 thali option: engineer, doctor, or family disappointment. But I chose the obvious engineer. After 2 decades of engineering, working in water and wastewater field, designing systems to keep the city clean, and reviving what is normally discarded, in the quietness of my office, when I look up from my engineering drawings and ask this question, is this it? Is this my purpose? Outside work, when I help my friends with clarity on their career, with clarity with mentoring children, and with helping them whenever they need a listening ears, I'm there. But then I ask the same question, is this it? Is this my purpose? And when I'm grappling with this question, someone on Instagram posts, "Find your true purpose and you will never work even one day." For people like us, finding true purpose is a full-time job. But then, that evening happened. That evening in Georgia, the country. In the village Pasauri, in the river of Godavari, that gushing water from the mountains, on the shores of that river, gave me one of the most unforgettable evenings in my life. We were a group of 30 from Dubai, families, a few couples, Within 2 days, though we met as strangers, we felt like we have known each other for ages. And it was on the third day, the tour operator said, "It's time for rafting." My excited 11-year-old son, Ian, wife, and me hopped onto the first raft pointed out to us. And that's when my father in me came out. I said, "You sit properly or you'll get scolding." My son equally retorted, "Son, I am not sitting in this raft. I'm going to the second raft." He jumped and hopped onto the second raft. And there, our newly met friend, Meka, a 25-year-old new bride, a lively person, she looked at us and gave us a smile as if to say, "Don't worry, I will take care." My friend John and his wife joined us on the first raft. And fast forward, we were going in that exciting journey and we landed at the end point. And then my wife said, "Oh, it should be so exciting to capture Ian's face when he comes in. Priceless moment it shall be." As she was saying this, John shouted, "Hey, I see the second boat coming." "Oh, it's coming upside down. I don't see anybody there." But my wife said, No. I can actually see a head beneath the boat as the boat was passing across. I saw that. My son holding on to a rope on the raft, trying to keep his head above water, fighting that freezing current. I and John jumped in. We fought the waves and reached. And John caught hold of someone and pulled onto the shore. I went running. I saw, oh, it's not my son. It's Meka. Motionless. John was tired. CPR had to be given to save her. It was a moment of decision. It was a moment to act. I had to make a choice. Should I go behind my son, run to save my son, or save Meka? I chose to act. I gave CPR to Meka. One cuff and a gasp. She came back to life. But then when I lifted my eyes and looked, the boat where my son was there, it was no more in sight. Just then the rescuers came into the scene. In whatever broken Georgian, I said, "My son gone. Please save him." They rushed off the scene. And the moment I stood there, not knowing the local language, not knowing what to think, I froze completely. After 2 hours, an ambulance came in and stopped right in front of us. I and my wife went running close to it. The door opened, and there our son, covered in a white sheet. But the next moment, he sat up and said, "Mama!" As a parent, that was the most happiest moment in my life. Villagers and rescuers had rescued our son kilometers downstream. And that evening gave me a profound realization that at times the world does not reward you for thinking. The world rewards you for acting. The world, when we act from point of compassion, point of authenticity, the world finds a purpose in it and gives it back to you. It taught me something which no book can tell me. You don't need a big mission or a grand purpose to act. But when you act, it shall be from the grandest of ourselves, our humanity, our authenticity, our love. And when we act upon it, that purpose will find us. Having said that, in the next month, there was another incident which reinforced the truth which I realized. One of my friends wanted me to meet his cousin, who probably wanted to be inspired by my ideas. So we met at a mall with no purpose, no agenda. And we talked 4 hours for about everything under the clouds. Be it life, love, work, all these things. After 4 hours, we agreed to part ways, handed over members, agreeing to meet again. After 2 days, I received an mail which said this from this cousin. I was going through a very rough time in my life. Meeting you left me inspired to take up challenges and to live a more meaningful life. This helped me to come back even from the point where I was thinking of causing self-harm. That was the mail. I was stunned. But then reading about it, I thought, was it that surviving 4 hours with me gave him the confidence to overcome all the challenges in life? Probably. But something which I realized that I did not go into that meeting with a particular agenda, but the authenticity, the words which we shared with each other, found a purpose in the other person, which was phenomenal for that. You remember the elephant? You imagine a blind man holding on to the leg, thinking that it's a tree. For him, the purpose could be of a tree when a storm comes. That's how purpose could work. Coming back to purpose, science helps us reinforce this idea that whenever you take the right actions, not clarity, it enhances our growth and engagement. It enhances our growth. With that, you consider purpose like Google Maps. Unless you start moving, it doesn't update anything. So that gave me a realization. Forget the grand purpose, finding it out in life. You do one thing which is authentic, which is close to your values. That will help you to find the grand purpose eventually. So I started mentoring children. I started giving small counseling sessions. Small things. These are not grand things, but these tiny footsteps were footsteps of joy. And this joyful ride helped to find a path ahead. It gave me the realization of slowly building blocks, because I had realized by now, purpose doesn't come by a lightning. It comes by slowly, step by step, making sure that I take one authentic action, which I'm proud of, to write it down in my journal before I realize the purpose. For all of you, maybe young people who are grappling with the same issue, that you're not able to figure out what to do with this purpose, you are in a very safe space, because you are not in a flawed situation, because it gives you freedom to act. And I slowly am able to see the shape of elephant. And the history also has given us a lot of examples of such great people. Michelangelo, he never started to revive the art scene. He just wanted to bring out that angel, carve it, and let it fly from that marble. He found his purpose through chiseling. Nikola Tesla, the innovator, he was never behind fame or legacy, but the curiosity was his driving purpose. That helped him find a purpose. William Shakespeare, he put words to human emotions, human relations, and till date, the authenticity in his work is celebrated. He never started out to be the greatest writer in the history. All these, Michelangelo, Nikola Tesla, or William Shakespeare, and that river in Georgia, all helped me to realize one thing. The purpose is not something we need to chase. purpose will be the result of the impact of your actions taken. So maybe it's high time that we stop asking the question, what's your purpose in life? What's my purpose in life? Reframe it to, what is that one thing which you love to do, which is close to you, which is authentic to you? If you take that action and consistently take that action, paths will appear. People will help, connections will be made, and you will be able to find your elephant. Coming back to this elephant, you need not see the full elephant before you start taking action, because just for the elephant, it just needs to take one step at a time, move ahead. Let the actions speak and find its own purpose. And act Michelangelo one step at a time. Walk, act, and touch your part of elephant and trust with every step, purpose will find you. Because not everyone can see the whole elephant. The only one who dares to take action will find the whole elephant. Thank you.